Last December, I returned from India. Among other things, I happened to visit a very interesting temple, an hour's drive from the center of the Indian capital, which is called Durga Temple Mahanagar in Ghaziabad. The uniqueness of this temple is that you can see iconographic images of all 10 Mahavidyas in it, the greatest forms of the Mother. During the tour of the temple, I came up with the idea that I need to share with the viewers of my channel the knowledge about the forms of the Divine Mother. As I have already said in a number of my previous speeches, the goddess Kali is the great mother of gods and people. There is no one and nothing above her. She is karma and she is liberation. She is light and she is darkness. She is infinite and vast as the universe. But nevertheless she is understandable for those who are able to open their hearts to her and let her go there forever. For those who are able to honor her in the temple of their soul. The Mother is immense, she is everywhere, therefore there are many forms of her. When Shiva refused to give Sati permission to go to her ignorant father King Daksha for a holiday, the Great Mother revealed herself to him in her 10 forms, namely Kali, Tara, Shadashi, Bhuvaneshwari, Chinnamasta, Bhairavi, Dhumavati, Bagala, Matangi, Kamala. They are called the 10 Mahavidyas and represent the basis of knowledge about the Mother. Thanks to that event, we also have the opportunity to learn these forms. The first Mahavidya is Kali. Kali means time and also death. As time destroys and devours everything, so Kali comes to the proud and ignorant and cuts off their worthless, arrogant heads. It also destroys everything they have created. Kali symbolizes immortality. She is beyond creation and destruction, as she is their cause. Kali lives everywhere, but she can be felt especially clearly in cremation grounds among corpses. She stands on the body of her divine consort, God Shiva. She is the wrathful hypostasis of the Mother Goddess. No one in the universe is able to resist her. It was in this form that she took the lives of Madhu and Kaitapha, Mahishasur, Shumbha and Nishumbha, Raktabija, the great demons of the past. The color of Kali is blue-black. Her beautiful hair is disheveled, which symbolizes Kali's boundless freedom. There is also an opinion that every hair of Kali is someone's individual soul, and all souls have a source of life in Kali. Accordingly, for sinners, this source quickly runs out and they perish, and their heads are put on a necklace adorning the neck of Mother Kali. From these heads, cut off by Mother, blood first drips in the hope of falling to the ground and sprouting giving the world new criminals and scoundrels, just as the drops of Raktabij's blood fall into the ground gave birth to his countless clones. But not a single drop of the villains killed by Mahakali no longer grows flesh. Time polishes the skulls to shine, and when the mother goes, they pathetically knock against each other, reminding the world of the inevitable retribution for the crimes committed, the worst of which is treachery. Kali has 3 eyes. With the 3rd eye, the goddess sees the hidden. Also, the 3rd eye means her bottomless wisdom. The protruding tongue of the goddess is red, which symbolizes Rajas, the guna of passion, the guna of active actions. But the tongue is held on both sides by snow-white teeth, symbolizing sattva, the guna of goodness, whose color is white. Thus, Mother teaches us that spirituality is above all activity. It is the spiritual life that makes the soul pure and leads to the higher worlds, to God. Therefore, the world remembers the great righteous, enlightened people for many hundreds and thousands of years, but quickly forgets kings and conquerors. Kali has 4 hands. The position of the right 2 promises us good, and the left ones holding a bloody sword and the severed head of a subhuman means just a retribution. Kali is naked. Her body, the highest perfection of female beauty, is decorated with the severed hands of traitors and crooks of various kinds, the hands of murderers and scoundrels. These hands will never harm good people again. The garland of skulls on her beautiful neck is of course an ornament much more magnificent than the diamonds of all earthly queens and empresses combined. Kali is the first and the main Mahavidya. All subsequent ones can be fairly described as different hypostases of Kali. The second Mahavidya is Tara. Tara appears before us with scissors in her hands. With these scissors, she cuts off a person's connection with illusions and the illusory world in which his earthly existence takes place. The blue lotus in the hands of the goddess symbolizes the need for purity and spiritual transformation, which, if the seeker of truth has them, can lead to the goddess Tara. Translated from Sanskrit, Tara means transfer. Therefore, the function of the goddess is to carry a person through the endless ocean of samsara and grant him liberation from rebirth, in other words, liberation from suffering. Thanks to Tara, a person finds the truth. Thanks to Tara, he is freed from the shackles imposed by the physical body and receives a fiery purification from the sins of this world. The third Mahavidya is Shodashi. She appears before us in the image of a beautiful 16-year-old girl. Her face shines with the light of the rising sun, which personifies joy and transformation. One day Kali was angry with Shiva. As sage Narada had informed her, Shiva was saying the names of some other girls. In this state of anger, she suddenly transformed into the most beautiful girl in the universe and appeared to her husband, the god Shiva. When she came to him, she saw the reflection of this beautiful girl in his heart and became even more angry, thinking that this girl was Shiva's new beloved. Mahadeva, seeing what was happening to his Shakti, told her that his heart reflected only her image and no one else's. When Kali realized her mistake, she asked him, "What will this divine form of mine be called now?" Mahadev replied that the name of this goddess would be Shodashi, which means perfection. Shodashi is light, beauty, and well-being. It gives the truth-seeker knowledge that frees from the shackles of karma, gives purity and a special attractive force that a person can receive from the one that represents the ultimate perfection. The fourth Mahavidya is Bhuvaneshwari. Her name means goddess of the world or queen of the universe. It nourishes the entire universe, and as it is said in the Devi Bhagavata Purana, "I know now, O Mother, that existence rests on you, and that from you is the creation and destruction of the world, and your boundless power, filling all the worlds, is manifested in these deeds. You are entirely creating the visible universe for the liberation of souls, who are guests of the unborn, immortal, sin-free full ocean, spread out like its waves. When the soul learns that everything is created and destroyed by you, all this is false, like the performance of an actor. Then you stop this performance, all filled with great power." The worship of Bhuvaneshwari brings the power to control others, as well as good luck in business and endeavors. Bhuvaneshwari holds a goad and a noose, which symbolizes control over evil forces and obstacles on the path of spiritual development. The noose and the goad also symbolize dharma and moral behavior. Hence we conclude that Bhuvaneshwari grants control over the world to one who is full of morality and observes the dharma. The fifth Mahavidya is Chinnamasta. This is a special form of the Mother, appearing before us in the form of a naked woman standing on the copulating bodies of the god of lust Kamadev and his wife Rati. Chinnamasta beheaded herself. With one of her hands she holds her own head, which drinks her blood. Her two devotees, Dakini and Varnini also drink her blood. Chinnamasta is one of the most difficult Mahavidyas to understand. On the one hand, she is a symbol of sexual control. On the other hand, she is the very embodiment of sexual energy. She gives life, but she also takes life. Chinnamasta brings us the knowledge that life is supported by other lives, and sacrifices are necessary for its continuation. The goddess gives herself to her devotees. They drink her blood. This I can note long before Jesus Christ, who told the disciples, "And drink from it a cup. This is my blood," if you remember. This act of self-sacrifice of the goddess, when she gives herself, speaks of the mother's boundless love for her children. The mother gives her head and then restores it, which means immortality. A Chinnamasta worshipper is able to overcome time and the fear of death, free himself from illusions, attachment to his body, identification with it, from ignorance and selfishness. Although Chinnamasta looks at the sky, she nevertheless encourages the devotee to turn his gaze into himself and awaken the divine energy in himself to achieve liberation. The sixth Mahavidya is Bhairavi. Bhairavi favors violence, punishment, and bloodshed towards those who are spiritless and cruel, which also means that she is the mother of all the violence towards villains. The scoundrels consider her cruel and terrible, but they forget that she is kind and merciful towards her children. In one of the sacred texts, she is described as follows. She has 4 hands. In one pair of hands she holds a rosary and a book. The other pair is folded in a gesture of fearlessness and bestowing favors. She shines like the rising sun and wears a moon on her head. She has 3 eyes. She is beautiful, decorated with all sorts of decorations. She crushes enemies. She wears a garland of freshly severed heads, from which blood is still flowing. The goddess is dressed in red. Her eyes, her 3 eyes, are the power over the 3 worlds, which is why she is also called Tripura Bhairavi, or furious in the 3 worlds. The goddess grants the power of fearlessness, protection from negative influences, and cutting off worldly attachments. The 7th Mahavidya is Dhumavati. Dhumavati is a manifestation of Shakti without Shiva. The goddess sits on a chariot, crowned with a banner depicting a black raven. Dhumavati is a widow. Her hair is gray and matted. She is dressed in rags. In her left hand, the goddess holds a shurpa, an object used in India for cleaning grain. Dhumavati is the direct opposite of the goddess of beauty and wealth Lakshmi, as she is ugly and not concerned with worldly well-being. Just as Shiva without Shakti becomes a corpse, Shakti without Shiva also acquires a terrifying, ferocious, far from beauty and grace, gloomy, oppressive form, especially to the consciousness of the unprepared. Her energy is connected with renunciation of the world. She favors those who have renounced it. You can turn to the goddess for help only if you are sincere, fearless, humble, devoted to her, and worldly affairs and worries are of no value to you. The goddess is able to fulfill any desires and lead the devotee to liberation from the endless chain of rebirth. For me, Dhumavati is the great power of destroying and turning into ashes everything unnecessary for the true development and evolution of man. Dhumavati destroys evil and also ruthlessly deals with the bearers of evil. She dispels the success of those who are fixated on material success and enrichment, forgetting about the spiritual development of the soul and helping the world. The eighth Mahavidya is Bagala. Her color is the color of the sun. It means pure and bright energy of knowledge. With her left hand, the goddess holds the tongue of a talkative fool, and in her right hand she has a mace. Bagala hates empty talk, gossip, slander, as all this keeps a person from self-realization. George Ivanovich Gurdjieff used to speak about how much of our energy is spent on chattering. The master warned against uttering rash words, as this is one of the main obstacles on the way to liberation. A devotee of Bagala can be endowed with iron logic, the art of bringing irrefutable evidence and convincingly convey them to people. The ability that can be developed by worshipping Bagala is extremely important. The ability to stop your thoughts. It is no secret that the thoughts of most people are the main and often the only serious source of their problems and misfortunes. No thoughts, no problems. Watch yourself. What harms you more? A rude word said to you by someone, or thinking about this unpleasant moment? A word to say is a few seconds, isn't it? But thinking about an insult and making plans for retribution, it takes hours, days, weeks, and for someone it can take months and even years. Isn't that right? Therefore, it is important to learn how to stop both your thoughts and often actions caused by these thoughts and uncontrolled emotions. The ninth Mahavidya is Matangi. Translated, this name means intoxicated with passion. The goddess gives her devotees the power of the word, as well as the ability to control any creatures. Matangi is the patroness of 64 types of art. And here she manifests herself as Saraswati. She grants liberation to a true devotee. The goddess is depicted as a 16-year-old girl sitting on a lotus or a corpse. She has a green skin color, long black hair, and a garland of kadamba flowers is wrapped around Mother's neck. In her hands she holds a sword, a skull, and a musical instrument. With her hand free of objects, she makes a gesture of blessing. By worshipping Matanga, we come to know the hidden part of our being and free ourselves from duality. The 10th Mahavidya is Kamala. As can be seen from the image of the goddess, she is sitting on a lotus flower dressed in a precious clothes, and on her head there is a beautiful crown. On the right and left, 2 elephants wash her perfect body. Her face radiates light, and in 2 hands she holds a lotus flower. With her remaining hands, she blesses her devotees. Kamala controls wealth, love, and enjoyment. She helps the devotee to rise above what is valuable in the relative world and come to the realization of eternal values. Kamala is Lakshmi, the Shakti of the god Narayana or Vishnu. Here we learn the great truth that the Great Mother is one, but multiple in persons. For Shiva, she is Parvati, for Brahma, she is Saraswati, and for Vishnu, she is Lakshmi. All 3 goddesses are sisters, but they are all at the same time one whole, manifested from the Great Mother, whose name is Mahakali. The 10 Mahavidyas are the greatest truth and the deepest knowledge. Even the practical knowledge of one Mahavidya can lift a person to an immense height of knowledge and greatness. The one who has known all 10 is like the gods.